Currently just checking to see if I've auto-posted to Twitter. I don't think I have. How to share to Twitter? There we go, sketching. Sketching. Tweeted. There we go. I think I'm good. I think I'll just post this. Real quick to reactive. Let's see, change thumbnail. Okay, I think it's ready. Click when posted. There we go. Good, good, good. Alright, I think I'm all good to go. So, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to make a little installation or something using text. So, I am just get rid of the things I don't really need. I've got a font sop, and I'm bringing this font sop into a carve node, and the carve lets me kind of trace the outlines of the font, which I find quite nice. Oh my god, my organization is terrible. Okay. After that, I bring it into an extrude, and the extrude is kind of wacky. It looks pretty wacky here, but it basically is just extruding along one axis. So I bring the spline in, and it extrudes from there, and then from there I use an attribute create node, which essentially adds normals and tangents to it. So normals are just it's the line that goes perpendicular to the face. So you need it in order to have a lot of shading effects, and in order to have reflections and such. So things look a lot better when they have tangents and normals. So got to attribute create that. Then here I break it off into two places. So one, I break it off into a wire, and the wire traces this and adds like a bubble effect, you can see. And the other one I break off into a material node where I apply a fong, like so. The one thing I'm trying to get going right now is real-time reflections with the fong. So I've got an environment map with this fong. Got a really crappy ramp as of right now, but I want it to kind of change the shading as I move my camera around. So that's what I'm working on at this particular moment. I've just created. Let's fuck things up. Let's see. I've just created the camera, which you can see the render node is picking up. It says, what cameras do you want to render from? Camera 1. Hey, carve node. It's all about the carve node. That's all I use pretty much. The one thing I want to do with the carve node is I want it to be constantly doing this. And so my intention was to create a speed chop, a constant, which is my little strategy for making things that just continue to count, like that. but it doesn't actually work with the carve node because the carve node maxes out at 1. So it works for like the first bit, but then it stops working. So what I need is like a repeating upward ramp. I think you can do that with a pattern node. Let's see. Triangle. There we go. Oh, I think I got it then actually. Cycle. Does that work? Maybe. There we go. Okay, so we're good now. So I've got this. I take the speed node and attach that to the phase so that it's kind of stroking through this. LFO, that's a good idea too. Okay. Like that. Yeah, okay. LFO, but ramp. Oh, that's way better. Yep. That's much better. Good idea. Okay, cool. So, one thing, however, I just want to try this. I just want to see if it works. I'm not sure if it will. Yeah, that works. Okay, but the LFO will also work. Take that and I'm going to attach that to this. Oh, it's too crazy. Oh, I think one's going backwards. This guy? If I did -1, would it fix it? Yeah. Sweet. Okay, it's way too fast for my liking. That one. Just want it to go slowly, kind of trace it. I feel like one is doing something, but the other is not. Let's see. Oh, it's not working. Okay, I'm just going to duplicate this guy then. I'm going to get rid of this little contraption because it doesn't work. This guy will go into the first UV. So right now they're tracing the same amount, but then I'll take the second LFO and then I'll offset it. That'll work, right? Oh, it's... I think something got... Okay, something's fucked right now. It's like it only picked up one channel. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, cool. That's exactly what I want. I wish that it would just cycle through though, it wouldn't stop at the end. Is there a period in the LFO? Yeah, I think it's frequency. I'm not sure what the relationship between frequency and period would be, but I imagine it would be an inverse relationship, like 0.5 frequency would be the same as 2 period. That's my guess. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now it's tracing this shit like that. I don't like how it starts. It starts full. I want it to start at nothing. How would I do that? Oh, I don't want to figure it out right now. Fuck it. I'm just gonna move on. So this is where it's at with the extruding. And this is what it looks like with the wire. I'm just gonna add another material here, like that, so I can see a bit better. Like so. Make it a thong. Get rid of any kind of diffuse, because I just want to look at reflections right now. And this is the part that I really want to figure out. I want to make a nice reflective surface with this, so I think what I'll do real quick is I'm just going to go into open footage.net. Hey, look, you can see me in the upper right. Okay, this is a really dumb HDR. 4, 6. Nice. Got it. Okay. HDR. Get rid of that. Okay, I'm just going to drag that HDR in. Hey, look, it works really well. That was easy. Okay, so here's the question: is how do I make it work as an environment map on this guy? And I have a feeling that I might need a projection node to convert it from a flat image into a 3D projection, but I'm not sure. One thing that I found from one of the websites is saying that you should always end something with a null, just in case you want to change it later on. So instead of referencing this movie file as the environment map, I should reference a null, so I can add anything I want between the null and the movie file. So I'm going to take the null and drop it into the environment map. And that's looking pretty good. And didn't do anything. Alright, let's check it. So it looks pretty sweet. Looks reflective and stuff. But I'm still not sure if it's actually changing. Let me see. Okay, I need like a subtle camera move right now, I think. Always. Yeah, A, B, N. Always be nulling. It's like a... the fundamentals, okay. So here's another one of my tricks that I like to do. I only have a few tricks because I've known this program for like 2 months, but it's creating a null comp, and then having the camera parented to the null comp by going into the camera node and finding the constrain to and dragging the null into there. So now I can rotate from the null, which is located at 0, 0, 0, and the camera will always stay pivoting around that center point. So that's really useful because that means that I can, first I'll bring the camera in a bit closer, like that. It means that I can animate the rotation really easily. So I'll just do my speed thing again. Speed. Like that. I'll give it a constant, though I'd usually hook this up to a MIDI controller so I could adjust the speed. But for now I'll just do like a constant of 1 or something. And then I'll export that speed. I'll do a null, because you gotta ABN, you gotta always be nulling. Null, like that. Take that and I'll export that into the rotation. And if you don't know that, then in order to export a channel, what you gotta do is you gotta hit that little plus in the lower right. It says viewer active. Take that, and then it allows you to highlight the entire channel like this. You have that little arrow, and you just click and drag that into the place that you want to export the information to. So for me, it's, in this case, rotation Y, like so. And so now it's slowly rotating. It's actually too slow for my taste. There we go. Alright, now I'm just going to check this out, like get a final window, like a final export kind of thing. Use the window comp if you ever want to go to a projector or to another viewer or whatever. So just make a window, and usually what you do is you drag the render into the operator here, and that's what I do most times. And then if you want to view it, you just hit open as a separate window like that, and it comes out. But right now, because of the whole limitations, because I'm using a free version of Touchdesigner, I actually sometimes like to cheat a little bit, and instead of using the render node, I drag the camera like that. And what that means is that you get a viewer that isn't actually limited to 1280 by 720. You could scale it to 4K and it will still be crisp, which is pretty sweet. The only thing is I can't figure out how to get rid of these things, the XYZ. And also, if you have any kind of render effects like lights, that won't work either. So chill. Okay, so what was I doing? I'm finding the movement a little bit distracting, so I'm just gonna stop that real quick by going back to my LFOs. I just want to figure out if my reflections are working correctly, actually. So frequency 0, would that work? It worked, sweet. Okay, I'm just looking to see if moving the camera, if it affects the reflections. And it doesn't seem like it. It seems almost like the environment map is, it's stationary, which is not what I'd expect. So, I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try adding this projection node that I was talking about right here and see if that fixes it. So the input is equirectangular and the output should be the same. That's weird. I expected that to work. Yeah, not sure. Like this should be, I mean, we can always rotate the projection and that should be visible. Just middle click drag. Yeah, and that's the effect I'm looking for. I'm looking for that when I rotate the camera to be able to see the reflections move across the surface. I don't know why it's not. Let's try some other stuff. So we have an environment map. I'm stumped. Input. Don't know. Oh, put the HDR in a giant sphere. Oh, and like make it the background? Yeah, I totally could do that. I'll try it. Sphere. Material. Constant. Take that, drop it into here. Material. Sphere. Make it renderable. And then scale it. Like that. Sweet. We are inside the HDR. Which is good. I just still don't know why it's not reflecting correctly. Excuse me, I'm just going to try Googling this really quick. Touchdesigner. Designer. Environment. Reflection. See if that gets us anything. Reflection mapping, that's what I'm looking for. Should be quite easy. Okay, use the top texture to define an environment map. Simulates an object reflecting its surroundings. The top defined in this parameter is a texture that will be reflected. The end map is added to whatever the normal lighting would be, blah blah. Expects a sphere map. Example of a sphere map can be here. Okay, so actually what I should be doing, okay, so it doesn't actually work with the equirectangular. So what I should be doing is changing this to fisheye. Excuse me. Okay, is that working now? Still doesn't seem like it is. Maybe. Perhaps I'll give up right now. That may be the way to go. It says it expects a fisheye. Okay, well I'm just going to cheat and I'm going to make it appear as though the reflections are working by adding a speed chop once again. Maybe I'll take it from elsewhere. take this guy. Just gonna add a math real quick so I can change this up if I want to. And another null. Like that. And then I'm gonna take that and put that into the projection map. The rotation. And then I'm gonna crank up the multiply to like 5. Or 50. That's what I want. I want something like that, but like, what am I rotating? So I'm rotating a couple things. Right now I'm rotating the camera. Let me just get rid of this guy real quick. So I'm rotating the camera, which is being rotated by the null that it's parented to. So the camera's here. It's constrained to the null. And that's rotating using the speed. But to make the reflection map look as though it's rotating, I added a rotation to the projection, which is kind of crazy actually. Works pretty well. So I'm ready, because that's the look I want. I want the moving reflections, and I was hoping that it would be kind of in sync with the camera moving, because that's how reflections should work. You know, what I really should be doing is trying with a simple scene instead of something crazy like this. What am I doing? But I might leave that for another time. I might just keep rolling and doing some more fun stuff. So I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to change the frequency again to 0.1. And this one as well. 0.2. Cool. So it's rolling again. I don't mind it. What are the camera settings? Let's see. So, camera. I'm not sure what camera settings you need, or what you're talking about, but the camera is constrained to a null. And it's translated out a little bit. And I really want to fix that snapping. What I could do is I could change this LFO to sine. Go up and down. Might look a bit weird. Yeah, I don't like the look of that like rocking back and forth. Just keep it a ramp. Is that what you're looking for, Lane? You're looking for the camera rotation settings? On different pages in the parameters. Maybe you need to flick something in there. Oh, I see. In order to get the real-time reflections. That's a good point. Huh, okay. Let me see. Perspective. Oh, cool. You can actually change the camera to orthographic. I kind of like that. A lot. Oh, yeah, that's sweet. Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe there's something here that needs to be. It seems like it would be in the render window. Or you know what else it could be? It could be the fact that I'm actually viewing through. Doesn't really make sense. I was gonna say viewing through the geometry window instead of the render. Let me just turn off my rotation real quick. Stop. Still looks static. Not sure. Okay, well this was fun. I think I might try something else though, right now. Is there anything specific, hey Lane, if you're there, anyone else that's watching, is there anything specific that people are curious about? Or like how to do? Or should I just start making something random? That's what I usually do. So crazy. Okay, I'm gonna keep fucking with this a little bit. So, just to organize myself a little bit, I've got my window, which is where everything is going out to. The mouse wheel thing. Which mouse wheel thing are you talking about? Make something random. Alright, I'm down with it. I'm just gonna save this real quick. So this is actually an idea that that Dean and I wanted to pitch to New Forms. We wanted to do like a large typography piece, or that you can just go in here and be like, New Forms, something like that. But what we were hoping to do is to have each of these. Just gonna turn this off real quick. What we were hoping to do is have each of these different shapes, these different pieces of text, react to a Connect sensor, so they kind of rotate or something. I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to make this whole thing again if that's useful. I just need to save it. Or did I do this already? I probably did. New Forms text. Cool. Alright. New scene. Feels good, man. Hey, Lane, do you know about copy sops? They're like the best. Copy sops are the frickin' best. It's my favorite. Okay, so a copy sop is essentially you give it a whole bunch of points and then you give it a piece of geometry and then it will copy that piece of geometry over the points. So, just like really simply, let's make a particle system. And that will be what we copy the points, or copy onto. So a particle system doesn't work by itself, as you probably know. You just need to have like an input piece of geometry. So I will use a torus, or forus. So, yeah, sure. So, oh yeah, there's mad delay, unfortunately. I think it's like maybe 30 seconds or so. So, oh, rendering instances. That's interesting. Yeah, I'll do copy sop real quick and then I'll do rendering instances. So, copy sop is not instancing, it's actually duplicating the geometry over and over, which is kind of useful in some ways. Like, it means that you can deform all the geometry together, and that's sweet, but it's a bit more expensive, it's a bit more heavy. So, I'll just do a copy sop first and then I'll do an instance. In fact, I can actually instance a copy sop, which is pretty cool too. So right now I'm taking a torus and I'm emitting particles from it. And the first thing I was wondering about is like, why does it decide to emit in this kind of circular pattern? And the reason is because it is emitting particles based on the vertice number. So with this particular torus, the first vertice is right here in the center and then it spirals outwards. So if you want to have it emit from different locations on the torus, you can just insert right here a new operator, one that's called sort. And what that does is it gives you some options for sorting the points, like sorting their order. So in this case, there's no change, but if I were to hit random, then all of a sudden it's randomizing the point numbers for all of these vertices, and it means that the particles are emitting from random locations. You can also do other stuff too, like you could do proximity to point, but I've never actually done that. So basically anything that's closest to the point 000, it numbers lower, and anything that's farther away, it numbers higher. So that'd be kind of useful if you had like an explosion ring or something, so you could start the emission near the point and then you could slowly move outwards. But in this case, I'm just going to change it to random, like so, and we're good. Okay, so next thing is we have our points, we have this particle system, and I'll just increase the number of particles a little bit to like 300. And now I'm going to create a copy SOP. I can't see my keyboard. Copy SOP. So the copy SOP has two inputs. The first one is the copy data, and the second one is the template. I don't know what those terms are. But basically the first one is the points it's going to copy to, and the second one is the object that it's going to copy along those points. So I'll make a sphere. I like polygon spheres better because they have less parameters, and then I'll just make it really low, like that, so it's kind of like a platonic solid. And I'll drop that into here. And I did backwards. That's completely wrong. So it's actually the second one that's the points that we need. But if I did this, then now it's duplicating the particle system onto each of these points. I can just drag these two on top of each other and it will switch them. And that's what I was looking for. So now it's duplicating these spheres along all the particles. So that's cool. You could do that in like so many different times. This is actually what I did last time. My last stream yesterday is I then took this copy. I'm at 36 frames per second, so we're already kind of in trouble. And then I took that and I copied it onto another, let's do a torus. Make sure that I'm low on divisions so it doesn't copy too many times. Gonna make it a bit larger with a thin radius. There. So now I'm copying the copy SOP. Try trading it. The copy SOP onto the torus, which is messing my computer up hardcore. Just gonna press space to stop. Wow, 5 frames per second. So that actually is kind of crazy. I think it's just my particle count. I'm going to take my particle count and bring it down to 50, and then I'll go to state on the particle tab and hit pulse. That will delete everything. And I'll hit space again, and we're good. So yeah, copying a copy SOP. Still curious, it still seems like it's slower than I would have imagined. But whatever. It's also kind of boring, just what's going on here. It's like we see 3 of them, but maybe I'll increase the number of columns. Still, not a lot of interesting going on. Let's do another sphere. Just so the points are farther away from each other. Take the sphere, make it a polygon again. Lower the frequency, there we go. And I'll just make the radius larger. There, that's decently cool. That's of moderate coolness. Still running at 17 frames per second, but one thing you should know is that it's like generating all these thumbnails. So if I were to put this all into a geometry comp, which is actually how you should be doing things, you should be building little scenes inside of geometry comps or inside of containers. Let's see. Container. Should be building things inside of here, because what happens is I'll just take this whole thing and I'll cut it, and then I'll bring it inside the container and paste it. So you can see, like, when we're inside the container, it's actually pretty heavy, 16 frames a second. But as soon as we pop out, we go back up to 43, because it's not actually having to draw all the thumbnails. Here it's drawing every single thumbnail and it's thinking about the interface, but once we have it inside of a geometry comp, we're good, just like that. So just for fun, I'm just going to put a material on it. My favorite thing, which is, I'm giving away my secret, it's what I do for everything, but I basically just take a ramp, give it some nice contrast, take my speed thing once again, give it a constant, give the constant a number, click on that little lower right, and then export that into the phase, like that, so it sweeps, and then give that as the emission map. And take this and apply it as the material. Ooh, that's it. That's all my stuff. Everything I make is just like that. Okay, let's I want to show one more thing in relation to this, and that's just that right now it's sweeping a very specific way over the geometry. But just like in any other 3D program, we can apply like a UV map essentially. And the UV map is pretty easy, so what we want to do is, just really quick, I want to be able to see this while I'm inside of the geometry comp. So I hit that and just drag that there. So I drag the geo comp onto the operator of the window comp. Like that, and then I open it up so I can view it. Like so. So now it's just going to hang out there for a bit. Okay. So now I'm going to go inside the geo and I'm going to add one more node that's going to be useful to us. And that is the texture node. Just going to press space so I get my frame rate back. And I will drag out here and make a texture node. And a texture node is just, it's basically a UV mapping node. So it's automatically on orthographic, which means that it's doing kind of like a projection from one direction. It's a planar projection. So it's projecting along the z-axis, you can see. And it's really boring. But there are some interesting options. Like XYZ position is pretty great. It's almost like a field of numbers. So if you have an object that doesn't have any UVs, it works really well because it's applying UV coordinates based on 3D coordinates. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it gives you some options. That means that you can rotate the XYZ field. You can scale it. Let's see what that does. Scale it this way. Okay, so yeah, you can stretch stuff like that. There's some other ones too. I like face is cool. So every single face on this piece of geometry then ends up having its own UV map essentially. What else do we have? Rows and columns is pretty similar. I like that. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that and pop out just to see what our frame rate's like. Sweet. I'm chill with that. It's fine with me. Cool. Okay, let's do... Lane, you still there? Do you still want to see instancing? I will show you. I'm going to do one thing real quick. Just for fun, I'm going to add a displacement map to my ramp. So I should have nulled this out. Null. I should have put a displacement map in here. Displacement. There we go. Displace. Okay, displacement map needs a map to displace with. Oh, it's still there. Okay. There we go. So now I've got the ramp going through a displace. Looks super sweet. And now I'm just going to apply that as the emit. Doesn't look as cool as I thought it was going to look, actually. Lame. There, that's okay. Just adds a little bit of variation, so it kind of has that double brightness. Okay, so that was the copy SOP method. It just involves, as we saw, just taking a point cloud, that's the input, and then you have your piece of geometry that it copies over it. The instancing is a bit more difficult, but it's chill, it's okay. So the instancing takes a geometry node. It happens on a geometry comp like this. And you can even see we have right here, we have an instance tab. And we turn instance on. And that's how we do it. Well, it needs some data to go into here. It basically needs vertices. It needs like vertex locations to go into here. So I've never tried this before, but I wonder if you could just put a noise into this. I don't think it'll work, but let's just see. It might. TX, TY, TZ. Nope, didn't work. Okay, so what we end up doing then is we have our other object that we want to generate the vertices for us. So in this case, I'll just use a sphere again, like that. And we can't just drop that sphere directly into here. It doesn't work. What it needs is a chop or a dat. So the chop is, as you know, channel operator, numbers. So we need to convert this sop into chops. And there's a node for that actually, called sop2 in the chop section. So sop2 asks for a sop. And just drag that into there. And there we go. So we basically have data for each of the vertices in the sphere. It's actually kind of cool because if you took like this and made it polygonal, you can see the data becoming more fine, whatever. Okay, so we have ourselves a chop. Now we're just gonna null it, just like we do always. So we can add stuff in here. And then we're going to take that and we're going to drop it into here, instance chop. Boom. So easy. So it doesn't actually work right off the bat. Usually it'll look like that. And the reason is that we need to, it's looking at all these parameters here. We have tx, ty, tz, rx, ry, rz. This is translate, rotate, and scale. And it's basically asking what channel should it apply to translate x, which channel, which is here, should we apply to translate y, translate z. So what I have to do is I have to go in and tell it to say, hey, use tx for your translate x, use ty for your translate y, use tz for your translate z. And actually, now that I think of it, I tried to drag a noise in here earlier and it didn't work. But if I were to make a noise now and add a little abs time seconds expression here so it moves, that didn't actually work. Is that gonna work? No. Okay, just need to do it by more. Okay, so if I had a noise here, I probably could make this work. I probably could have like the y, the tx or ty go off chan 1. I'm just going to try it real quick. So I'm going to make a merge node so I can merge my sop2 and my noise and then drag that into the null. That's the whole reason we have the null there in the first place. And then I can go into here probably and say, let's have this driven by chan 1. Hopefully this works. It does. You can see the whole thing is moving side by side or sideways. And if I were to increase the amplitude, you'd definitely be able to see that. It's pretty boring though, and we don't really want that. So I'm going to go back and do tx. There we go. So this is cool. So basically, this is super fast. The copy stop on the inside is slow in comparison. But the cool thing is that you can combine the two. So I can have this crazy copy stop, and then I can instance it, and it's still super slow. Maybe I just need to bring down the sphere's frequency. There you go. Not so bad. 15 frames a second. I'm now going to go one more out, and we're up to 18, which is still pretty heavy. But it's a combination of those two techniques. So I'm just going to save that really quick. And just do it again really quick. Instance. Did you get that, by the way? Did that work? All right. New scene. This time, just a really quick recap of that instancing. So we have the sphere, which is our base geometry. We take that and we do SOP2, which makes our SOP turn into a bunch of numbers, like so. We have our geocomp, like that. We turn on instancing. We drag the SOP2 into that. We assign it tx, ty, tz. Boom. So easy. Instanced. Now, one thing that's really cool, which I don't understand very well. I kind of do, but someone gave me a tutorial about how to make it so that I basically wanted it so that when an instance was created, it would be small, and as it grew older, it would get larger and then get small again. So I'll just show you what that looks like. This is a little recipe that someone from the forums shared. So this is like the same setup, basically. Here's what the thing looks like. It's pretty crazy. It's probably crazier than it needs to be. Like that. I think if I saw that at a club, I'd probably leave. I'd be like, I don't want to be here. Can someone just turn the projector off? Okay, anyway. So this is the same thing. It's just we have a copy SOP inside. Copy SOP, it's textured, and then that's coming in, and that's being instanced by this data set. Let's walk over this again. So I have my initial sphere. My sphere is being used to emit particles. The particle is dragged into a SOP2, which is generating the channels that we need. But there was some other kind of stuff that's a bit trickier. So I've also told it in attribute scope to pick up this P, which I believe is particles, any kind of particle related attributes, V, which is velocity, I believe, and life, that's the lifespan. And then I've told it, using this stuff I don't understand, to rename. Oh, I'm sorry, V isn't velocity, V is vector. It's the angle which things are pointed. So I'm telling it to take the position, rename it to this, the vector, rename it to this, and the life, rename to these two, which in all honesty does not make sense to me. I don't understand why you have 3 here and you have 4 here, but this is what someone told me and it works. So maybe that's actually a useful thing to take a screenshot of. And save it in a little cookbook or something. So SOP2 attributes. Alright. Oh man, this is way over my head. I'm gonna have a hard time explaining this. I almost feel as though it might be just useful just to save this file somewhere where people can get it and they could just adjust it. But I'll try to explain it. So basically I select from these attributes that we pulled out, we're selecting the age and the lifespan. So the age is how old that particle is at a certain time. Like say the lifespan is 2 seconds. The age is somewhere between 0 and 2 seconds. Then we have the lifespan, and that's how long the particle is supposed to live. So somewhere between 0 and 2, and then 2. So then we take math, and in our math operator we are dividing I know, it's a bit crazy. We are dividing the two inputs. So we have our age and our lifespan. So when we divide our lifespan by our age, we get our normalized age, which is basically, if I'm doing this correctly, it is a number between 0 and 1, 1 being time to die and 0 being birth. Okay, that was a terrible explanation. Okay, so also we have this little pattern guy, which is just a sine with a cycle set to 0.5. So it creates this arc, and this creates this is the scale. This is essentially the scale that I want. So I want it to start out at 0 and be scale 0. When it reaches midlife, be as large as 1, and then when it dies, be 0 again. So with this little arc, and with my life fraction, which is my normalized age, I then use this, which is a lookup table. And basically it takes the first value, and it looks up the value here on this graph. So it says, what value are you? Okay, well, if you're at 0.5, it goes here to 0.5. and grabs that number. I'm realizing I really don't know what's going on because I'm getting confused. That's okay. Anyway, gotta look up, and then we merge that back into our original data set, which has our tx, ty, tz, and everything. And now this is all usable for the instance. So here we have my tx set up, my ty, my tz. My rotate x is actually, this is a little Python expression. It's basically generating a random number based on the point index. So each individual object should be randomly rotated. This is something else that you just have to memorize or write down. And then here is the magic part. It's just saying the scale x, scale y, scale z, that is determined by life curve, which if we trace it back is this guy here. Okay, that was a bad explanation, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this file so that if one wanted to, they could just go in and strip all the stuff that they don't want. For example, you can go in here, get rid of all this, say you just want spheres. That actually looks really sweet. That looks way cooler. So you just want spheres, come out, and say you just want to change the particle system, you can. More turbulence, more wind. Cool. I think I'll save this and share it. Desktop, instancing base. Simple. Okay. Just for fun, I'm just going to really quickly do something with the Connect too, with the new scene. Because I just got the Connect working yesterday. Side note, in regards to your OG file with the text tracing, switch the LFO to ramp. I think mine was on ramp. I thought it was on. Maybe it's just that I was doing both. I'll try it again. So let's just do it really quick. So I had a font stop, and it says Diva. I don't know why. Johnny. Okay, then I had a carve. So the carve is cutting out. And this is the thing I wanted to animate here. Like that. Okay, now I'm going to use an LFO. Like that. Change it to ramp. Export that to second. Or should it be first? Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it just has to do with the timing. Come on, copy. Could I offset this by 0.5? No, that doesn't help. Phase 0.5. I don't know. Just twiddling now. Oh, I think it's doing the same thing again, where it's decided to export the same thing to the first and second. Anyway, I believe you. Maybe you can show me your file. Okay, what was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna do LFO to math to scale, then ramp for smooth rotation. What? LFO. Dude, I want to see your screen now. LFO to ramp to math. Scale, then ramp for smooth rotation. Oh man. I don't get it. I don't get you, man. Alright, you gotta send me a screenshot or something. I think that will do it. LFO to math to scale. Yeah, Lane, send me a screenshot if you can or something. Because I don't get it. Okay, I was really quickly going to do something with the connect because it's so fun. So, connect is super easy. You got a couple things. You got the connect top, which just gives you a video, like so. You can change the depth. You can change the image, so depth or infrared, which looks really sweet. I look like a freaking crazy zombie man. You can do color if you wanted to see me in color, which I don't think anyone actually really wants to see. Yeah, show me later, man. Okay. So you have this top, but you also have a connect chop, which is sweet. And it lags a little bit when you load it up. And the connect chop has all this stuff, but it can't really see me right now because I'm too close. So if I were to back up just a little bit, then all the data would start rolling in like that. So I'm actually just going to turn off some things. I can turn off like the skeleton. I know it's doing my full body tracking, but I only want to do my face. So I'm going to do off. Okay, and then I'm going to turn on face tracking. So now it's got data from my face. It's kind of funny. It's like, it's got happy, engaged, wearing glasses, eye closed left, eye closed right, mouth open, face looking away. It's pretty funny. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just something really dumb. So I'm going to do a sphere and make a circle. And the circle is going to be my mouth. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to give the circle a material. Make it constant. Constant black. There you go. And in the face, I'm going to make something else. I'll do material. I think that you can merge two things that have different materials, but I'm not sure. I'm going to make my face white, because I am a white man. Okay. And then let's hope that I can merge these two together, and they'll retain their... Oh no! I can only have one material applied to it. That's lame. Okay, well it doesn't matter. I can just have them both render. Like that. And let's see. Fuck materials. Let's just merge them anyway. Just have no materials in this guy. Anyway, what I wanted to show was this circle. Gonna add a little transform so I can manipulate that circle to be out in front. Just messing around with my axes here. Okay, so circle's out in front. Make it smaller. Transit it down. Kind of into my mouth position. Like so. And I really wish I did have... I could just see what was going on a bit better. Just gonna take this. Just gonna move this guy a little bit. There, now it merges and then goes into the ramp. Okay, that's so lame. But I'll get over it. There. So silly. Anyway, all I want to do is I want to take the data that's coming in here about my mouth being open or not, and I want to apply that to the mouth. So it's pretty easy. I just have mouth open is between -1 and 1. Seems pretty accurate. To add multiple mats, put each SOP in its own geocomp. Good idea. Maybe I should do it that way. I was just being lazy. But, you know what? I think it's worth it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So, this is the head. There you go. Sounds good, I'll do that. Thanks for coming in and helping, Visible Name. I'm sure you are 1,000 times more proficient than I am. I shouldn't even be giving tutorials, to be honest, but here I am. Okay, here we go. So we got the two geos. They're both renderable. Of course, we need a camera. Need a render. But I'm actually not going to do that. I'm not going to use a render, I'm just going to use a window. And the window will have the camera in it, and then I'll open that up. There we go. I've got my cool guy. Okay, so here's what I want to do, is I wanted to make it so that the mouth opens. Yeah, Touchdesigner is so fun. It's like the most fun program I've ever experienced in my life. I will live in this program. I will. Okay, let's do this. So, I need to have my mouth open. That's the piece of information I need to have. Actually, really quick, just so we can see, I'm just gonna have another window, just for fun. Oops. Window. And I'm gonna put the top in there and open it up. Just because I'm vain. No, mostly because we want to be able to see if it's opening with my mouth. There we go. Okay. So, let's do this. So, we need to select out the mouth open. So I'm going to use a select chop. And then I wish I knew a way I could just copy and paste this. I wish that I could just drag this to here. But I don't. I don't know how to. If anyone does know how to, I'd be so appreciative. So what I end up doing is just going here to the channel name and typing it in. Face, mouth, open. And there we go. We can see it. Now one thing is that it's really kind of glitchy. You know how it's twitching and everything. So what I end up doing, there's a couple places that you can smooth it. You can smooth it by going into here and adding some smoothing here. But what I prefer to do is add a lag. Oops. A lag chop, like that. And then of course null it, like that. So that smooths it out. It's kind of nice. I don't know what to do with the negative values. I don't actually know why it would give me a negative value for mouth open anyway. Okay, so just gonna take that, and really basically, I'm just gonna scale the Y based on that. But it seems like it's scaling from a weird place. So maybe what I need to do, you can shorter with so open is faster. With oh, really? So I could use a wildcard, as they're called. Like that? That work? What? That's awesome. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you. Amazing. Open. Okay, so I have got negative values. And what I'd like to do is actually clamp it. And I think that if I added a math node, I could clamp. There's not a clamp node, is there? Nope. I know there is a limit node, but I'm just going to use a math node. Because I think that you can do that. I think that you can say, well, I can always range it. But I don't know, I just don't want that -1. So maybe limit's the one to do. Type, clamp, minimum, 0. There you go, it's clamped. Way faster, super faster, so much faster. Super happy about that, thank you. Okay, so got it opening the mouth. Now there's a bit of an issue here. I think I like transformed this down, which was silly. I mean, I think it made sense at the moment. What am I doing? I should actually have a transform in here, just for good measure. I'm gonna null, like that, and make sure that last one is what's rendering. Okay, and now when I scale this, I need to bring it out forward again. Translate. There we go. Also, right-click on any op, open viewer, instead of window comp. It's like, oh, okay. That's cool. So I can just do this. Open viewer. Right-click any operator, and open viewer. Wait, are you telling me the window comp is not actually for outputting to projectors? Because that's what I've been using it for. So window comp should not be used for outputting to projectors? Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear me. I hope you can. How do I open viewer? View. Boom. Would you look at that? It's so much faster. View. Yeah, I got it. Got it. It's perfect. That's way better. Visible name, who are you? Are you you're like Matthew Regan. You're like Matthew Regan showing up, giving tips. That'd be awesome. Okay. By the way, I'm getting hunger pangs, so I should probably eat soon. Anyway, so I got my geo. Where's my geo at? Oh yeah, I don't want to do that. Okay, the one thing though about the view. Oh, I have multiple pieces of geometry, so I need to. Oh, there we go. Just go into here. Right click. View. Brilliant. So much better. Okay. So this time I'm going to do what invisible name says. I'm going to add a constant out here. There we go. So that's like that. Constant. Material. This guy must be too big. He must be blocking the view. Would you look at that? He is. Gonna go in. Gonna scale it down. So. Gonna translate it down. There we go. This is such a silly little exercise I'm doing. So silly. Okay, so I've got this guy, and all I want to do is I want to scale vertically like that, based on the mouth open. So I've got this clicked in the view, and I click and drag to scale. There we go. That should work. Ah. Connect's confused. Hello? Why do you think my mouth is open right now? What are you doing, dude? Okay. Sometimes I increase the lag just to smooth it more. There's a node called filter, but it's really expensive. Super lame. Super lame. Okay, I'm just gonna try increasing the smoothing a little bit. Smoothing. Why not? Ah, here we go. Just view. Oh, sorry, the text was, the chat was lagging. Major lag, sorry guys. Wanaja. Yo. See you later. Peace out. Alright, I'm gonna see you on the forums right now. Touchdesigner forums. There you are. Added as a friend. Are you sure you want to carry out this operation? Just did. Okay, so my little exercise kind of worked. But I don't understand why it's like, there's so much interference. Okay, let's try a couple other things. Just for fun. I'm gonna just copy this geo. Remove the export. Like so. Trying to get comfortable here. Whoa. Okay. Move the export. Gonna move it around a little bit. Move it up. Oh, wait, that's weird. Why did it mess my other one up? Whoa, something happened. Oh, that's good. Never mind. Copying this. Just gonna move this guy up to the side. Scale him down. Just gonna scale inside. There we go. Got that geo. Gonna do another one. This time, 0.4. This is so silly. It'd be so cool if I could just lip sync this all the time, though. Okay, so let's try using these techniques that Buonage has provided. We're going to see closed R. Nice. Closed L. Like so. Alright, once again, don't want the negatives, so I can actually just take everything about this. Oops. Duplicate that, duplicate that. There we go. And now, unless something kind of crazy is happening. Is it reading my eyes? I'm not sure it is. Oh, looks like the Connect stopped working or something, maybe. That's funny. Huh. How am I live streaming? I'm using OBS, like so. Whoa. So OBS, I've got my desktop set up with a video capture device, which is my camera, like so. Got a microphone, which is my friend's that I borrowed. I've got Touch, which is just a desktop capture that I set to crop to my upper right on my 4K screen. And then that entered the stream key and put it into YouTube, and it works really easily. It's really nice. I think, are you being facetious though? I feel like you are. Well, I don't know why my Connect has stopped working, which is concerning to say the least. I'm just gonna save up and do. I'm just gonna restart. Holy, it's 9:20. Connect facial stuff. Connect is still not working. Try it again. Touchdesigner. Okay. Just gonna open up the same file and hope that the Connect works. Because if it doesn't, then it means that it may be overheated or something. Oh, well, it's working now. Cool. Alright. Should be good then. There's that right-click view. This is still so silly. Okay. Now I'm just going to do the left or the right eye closed. I'm going to drop that into the scale of this guy. And then I've actually got it backwards, but I don't care. And scale that. Okay. Is it? Oh no, did it freeze again? No, it didn't, but it's having a hard time picking up my eyes. In fact, it's highly confused. Oh, it's inverted, that's why. Okay, so I have to go into my math null. Do I have math nulls? Don't know if I do. Things all messed up. I need some math nulls, that's what I need. Because I need to invert these values. Math. -1. There's actually a better way to do that. I could probably just change the range, but whatever. -1. There we go. Still not working that well. I had another one that was working way better. I'm not sure what the deal is. I think it's my face is too far away or something. This is not working at all. It's not working at all. Come on, work, 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 work. Embarrassing. Okay, this is not fair. I have another one that actually works. Damn it. I'm just gonna open that up. It's cheating, but I don't care. Don't save. Yeah, save. Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna quit in 2 minutes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, this is actually something else I was working on earlier. It's the same idea. It is... The idea is just that the camera tracks your face in relation to the screen. So you'd have a 3D scene inside the screen, and then you could look around it by moving your head. But that's not the one I wanted to show. I wanted to show facial track. This guy. Okay, this is my last bit. Okay, now this one works, I think. Or is it not working? There we go. Looking like a goof every day. Every day. One more time. Not bad. Not too bad. Okay, that's it for today. I'm like super hungry. I need to go home. I don't know if like that was that helpful. Hopefully if this was actually helpful, people would say something. Shout out to Buonaj. Shout out to Buonaj for coming in and teaching me how to do it, because I'm very new at this. So yeah, thank you for coming in, and I'm just gonna quit right about now. See y'all later.